Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons Online. So for this quest here, this is now onto our Evening Star Chain 3. In order to complete these quests here, or in order to even pick them up, you need to first complete Chain 1, which is down here. Chain 2, which is actually just a little bit west of us, just right there. And then once you're done both those chains, you will be able to pick up these ones here. Now, typically, again, most people will pick up all the quests right off the hop, but we're only going to pick up the one. That way we can kind of do them in order here for you. So the quests again are out in the Underdark, the Evening Star Cavern, and we're going to go through that Underdark portal, and it has an option to go to the Demon Web. Now you won't actually get that option available to you until you are on this part of the chain. So just be aware, if you're trying to do that before you're able to, it won't even let you get out to this location. Alright, so you do have a couple of portals you can click on. You can actually click on this one here. So here we can explore the Demon Web, or we can go through this one here, and again, travel to the Demon Web. So that's where we're wanting to go. Now, out here, it is a maze of annoyance. Now, right when you get in, there are two different locations again you can spawn in. You can spawn in over kind of where Shira has spawned in, right over here, or you can spawn in here. Either way, both sides have one of these little symbols, which is the journal. Now, regardless of where you spawn in, what you actually want to do is jump off the edge. Now, this will teleport you to random locations throughout the Demon Web here. And you do want to port. Eventually, they will take you to these locations. So one of the locations is actually where we're at here, just north of us. We will have north and down. We'll have one of the quests here. So this is one of the start locations you want to reach. Now, aside from this one, the other two quests, they actually have you go to a different start location, but they both spawn to the same one. So we're going to see if we can't make our way over there. Not quite, but we did have the chest here where Shira was. So again, we're going to hop off the edge. And essentially, you just want to keep hopping off the edge until you get to the location. Now, as you see, sometimes it will port you back to the same one you just hopped from. And we did this one too. So it can take just a little bit of time to actually navigate your way and land in the correct location. So where I'm at right now, this is the one that you want to be on. So it's kind of right here by Lulth's message number 36. Now from here, you just want to head up the kind of the spider web, and you're gonna want to circle around the edge. And we're just going to head up our path here. So right at the top here, we do have our quest, which is just straight ahead. And it is the domain of Lord Grulameth. Now we can also actually have a rare spawning in like right here. So definitely check before you do pop in fully. Alright. Not this one there, Shira. You killed one towards the other area. This one, it would spawn in with a chest right at the shrines here. But, anyway, we're gonna jump into our quest. Now, this one here is actually probably the longest one of them all. But as you see, it is worth 92,000 experience. With our daily 103,000, it's a very nice chunk of experience, And of course we're going to increase that by optionals and all the other little ransack and stuff. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is of course grab some ship buffs, grab any buff that you can have, and yeah, so on our way, we want to actually talk to the giant Minotaur here. And he's going to bring up two options here. So we are going to have these Trials of Might and Trials of Wits. Now you only actually have to defeat one or the other. However, if you do both, there is an optional for those as well. So we're going to start here with the Trial of Might. And essentially it is exactly as it sounds. It's going to spawn a small wave of enemies to fight. And that's it. Simple enough. Obviously, you gotta fight them and beat them, but the concept is sound. Now, once they die, there we go. Once they die, right next to the lever, you are going to have your jewel. So we'll pick that up there. And then we're also going to do the Trial of the Wits. I can show you the easy way to get that done. So for these puzzles, they work similar to the Shroud puzzles if you are familiar with them. Essentially, what you're wanting to do is pick a side. It doesn't matter which, so bottom, right, top, or left. So I'm going to pick the top side. Now what you want to do is you want to solve down, lighting everyone. So we're going to light everything in the top row. So in order to do that, we push the buttons on the row below it. There we go. Now we need to light the middle row. So to do that, again, we push the buttons below it. So this time we got to push all three. And there we go. Now as you see, we're at the bottom. Obviously we can't go any lower. So now we actually need to reverse and head back up. So we're going to push this one here. Now we only have to light these two. So as we're going, it's going to go there. So again, at the very top, not solved yet, so we're going to turn around, head back down. Now with the 3x3 puzzles, this also works by 4x4s as well. Eventually it will solve itself out with the 3x3s. The 4x4, it will always solve itself out the first time. So it's simple in theory. It might just take you a few times of going back and forth. Now from this section here, instead of heading through the barrier right away, we can actually continue west and up this kind of webbing strand. And we're going to come to the Theater of Pain. Here we're going to have a couple of spell wards. And as you see, a whole bunch of Dretch. Now, once the Dretch are defeated, it's going to immediately spawn in an orange named Hezzer. So just watch yourself. I recommend trying to get these traps first, if at all possible. That way, if you do need to kite the boss, it gives you the most amount of running room. So here we go. Let's grab that last trap. There we are. So again, as soon as he dies, there he is. So we got still another Dretch there. So as soon as the Dretch dies, in comes the Hezzer. Now again, it is orange named, so you can't knock down, assassinate, anything that you could normally do. And just watch out because he does have a nice chunk of hit points. As you see, 73,000 total. Alright, and he's worth 3.2 thousand. So a nice little chunk of XP. In here, you can actually get some named loot out of his chest, aside from the accommodations there as well. Now, from here, we're going to want to backtrack to that barrier. And use one of those jewels that we picked up. It really doesn't matter who has it. As long as one of the people who have picked up the stone uses it as basically they use them as keys. Alright, and we're going to proceed to our next room. Now this one here, again, if we actually choose to head straight up our path right here, we will again run into some traps. And at the very top, we're going to have some more optionals that we can get. So we got a couple of spiders. Alright, so there we just proceed right through this webbing. It's not actually a wall. There we go. So once you're done, we're just going to proceed into here. Here we have a whole bunch of these eggs, which we can break. We also have a few more spiders. Now, as the spiders die, this group, it will spawn in one additional spider here, which is a named spider, again an orange name, so you can stun, you can knock down, and all the fun stuff. There we go. Now once he dies, it does spawn in a nice little chest, but unlike most chests that you get when you kill a boss, it is actually locked. So you do gotta pick the lock. Use knock or bell of opening, however you want to open it. And again, it can contain some named items, or an named item, or a named item, sorry. I'm really not that great with the English vocabulary. And then once you've done all that, we can actually exit this section here as well. Now as we're exiting, we do want to hug the left, and that will take us into our next section here, which has some Loth mercenaries. Now, these guys, they are spellcasters. They are typically immune to a lot of effects. So they can be a little bit annoying, but they are spellcasters, so spellcasters do typically have lower lower fortitude saves and the like, so. Alright, so once they're defeated, again, just continue heading in, and we're going to come to our next section, which has our puzzles here. So again, same thing as before, Trilamite will spawn in a wave of enemies. Once you defeat the first wave, kind of has a couple more. Once they're all dead, you pick up your gem. Now, with the amount that we've actually already picked up, we can almost get to the end already. But of course, we are going to grab our jewels. So again, I'm going to go a little bit faster this time. So I'm going to start with the bottom row, working our way up. Ooh, Sheer, do you mind backing up just a little bit? We're clipping into you a little bit. Thank you. So again, we just went down, up, down. Look, Mom on TV. Yeah, exactly. Alright, so once we're done, we can head through our barrier. And we're just going to proceed down our web strands here. Now, at this point here, again, we're going to have another one of those rooms. However, if you look right here, there is a space and you can actually jump right around that barrier and continue on, skipping the entire need to solve the puzzles here or the fight. Again, I do want to do them all just so we can show you there. So this will be the third barrier that we would be coming across. Now, the reason that's important is our next barrier is actually going to have that Drider. So that Drider option comes out of the fourth barrier. Alright, there we go. So we can now grab our gem. And then we need to solve our puzzle. So again, I'll go a little bit quicker here. So start again on the bottom. After a while, you do start to recognize patterns with this, which will definitely help you speed things up. But once you're just starting, just pick a side, solve all the way to the bottom, then turn it around and say from bottom, now you solve all the way to the top, and then you just keep going top, bottom, bottom, top, top, bottom, bottom, top, all the way through until you actually have it solved. Alright, so from this point here, you can actually work your way around the corner. We have a couple of breakables right there. And then you do just want to head across our webbing strands to the Grotto of Hopelessness. Here again, we're going to be met by some Yugoloth. And again, we're going to just head up our strands of webbing. Now, this is our fourth one, which is our Nest of Corruption. Now, on this one here, this is where we're going to, when we pull the Trial of Might, we are going to have a wave of spiders. Right after the wave of spiders, we are going to get that named Drider spawning in. Now, just like the others, he is an orange named enemy. And can be knocked down, insta-killed, and all, just like all the others. Now you also see the spiders here, for whatever reason, tend to have issues making their way around. So there we go. Now once they die, again a nice chunk of experience, plus you can get some for the monster manual. And then finally, again another chest which can contain a named item. And then again, another puzzle. So again, we'll pick the bottom here, solving up. Now back down. And then finally back up again. Here we go. So now we just want to head through a barrier, across the webbing strand, through our kind of wave of spiders here, and of course Plague Reaper. Ooh, that kind of hurts. I'm jumping off the edge. Now typically you don't want to jump off the edge, as it is going to port us all the way back to the beginning of the quest. Or not. Yes, it is back to beginning, but our Plague Reaper, as you see, did kind of join us. Alright. And then at this point, we do gotta head back. So what we also see here right at the beginning, we got a couple of breakables we missed. Now we can kind of speed through it a little bit. As, well, the enemies are dead. Alright, so yeah, that is the downfall. If you happen to accidentally fall off the edge, it will port you to the very beginning of the quest, forcing you to run all the way back, especially if you are, like, as in my case, the person who has all the gems. It does mean that if you are in a group, for example, me and Shira were doing this, if not for videos, you know, we would not be necessarily waiting as much for one another. But Shira would not be able to run ahead as they couldn't pass through the barriers. Alright. So here we go. We're finally back with the group. And we're just gonna head up and continue to heading up here. Now from here again, you just want to continue past the on the strands of these webbings to the next section. Now sometimes it can be difficult to know where to go. Just look at your map and see if you've been to that location and which area the webbing strand is going. So now that we made it to our final kind of puzzle section, again we do have our Trial of Might. Now as we've done the others before, you'll notice we do have that optional complete all the Trials of Might. So as we have completed them all, we will get a bit of optional experience for that. So the easiest and the ones that people typically go through is they'll actually stop and do the Trials of Wit. Obviously it's faster, it doesn't involve any killing, so it is just quick solve, move on. But as you'll see here, doing all of them for one brought us 3.2 thousand. So we're going to get that again for completing all the Trials of Wit here as well. On top of that, because we've gotten both the Wit and the Strength, it gives us a secondary option, which is get both of them. So we get kind of three optionals total for completing just both of the tasks. So here we go. So first one we're going to get right away. There's that 3,000. Now it does take a moment for that leather one to come in, but then there's another almost 5,000 XP. Now at this point you do want to head all the way up to the top, and we can proceed up our kind of path. You'll also notice we do have some shrines. Should be coming up, I believe. That or I don't know. I typically don't use the shrines, to be honest. But we are nearing the end of the quest. Oh no. Bad time to come alive. Alright. Ouch. Yeah, there's that too. So from here we do want to head up. Now you will notice you actually do have some enemies on the side, and you can actually target and kill them. They're just kind of there. They can't really do anything. I mean, obviously you can jump over there and fight them, but they're just extra kills towards your total conquest. Now at the top here, this is where our shrine is. And we also have a couple of breakables here, so if you do need to use the shrine, go ahead and do so. I'm actually going to use to get some of those spell points back. And then once you're done, you want to head up the strand of webbing again to our next kind of platform there. Alright. So I did mention this is probably the longest of the chain here. So at the very top we are going to have just some harrowers right away. Aside from these enemies here, just across the way we do have some driders. Which again, you can use range damage to kill, as they don't actually head over to you. They kind of are not 100% sure how to make it across that bridge. Alright, and then just to our east here, we have whole bunch more spiders. Now once these little guys die, it does have that big one drop in, just again to add more kills. As you see, we're not even at our first tier bonus. Once you're done, you do want to head across the little bridge. And you're going to want to head up the kind of path there, making our way around. Now here we were going to have some more renders. And you're going to want to just proceed around. Right up until you see our big bad boss again. He's going to teleport away. and it's going to leave us at this section. Now, what I typically do here, as you see, we do have 2 named enemies. Both of them are, again, an optional enemy to defeat, and we have some spiders. Now, the actual named enemies have a fairly small rubber band range. However, the spiders do not. So what I'll typically do is I'll actually just start fighting the spiders up top here, dragging them up to us. All the while, you know, doing what I can to the big guy, kind of hoping he's in the way. And again, just killing off those spiders. Once those ones are done, I'll move to the other side, do the exact same thing. There you go. Now, once they are down, I'll move over and actually head into their respected locations. So this one here is a melee. As you can see, he does a large amount of melee damage. Luckily for us, he did hit me and got turned to stone, so makes it super easy to kill. As you see, 1600 experience, not really a lot. And then we have this one over here, which is a spellcaster. So kind of dealer's choice on which path you want to head down. But again, you only need to actually kill and head down one of the paths. But we'll show you both. So we're actually going to start with this one here. So for this one, you want to kind of head through here, down, up, and around. It'll take us to our button here. Push the button. And you're going to want to head up and across to where the render is. Now, once he dies, it's kind of going to drop down the wall, allowing us to go through the portal there. Now, the other path, very similar thing. Kind of push the button, go around. So this one here, again, we're going to start down at the bottom. We do have a few more death jump spiders here. So, last spider. There we go. So we'll just proceed up the webbing. But we want to do so on this side. That'll bring us to this section. So actually the one we want is this webbing here, sorry. So the left side webbing. And at the top we'll be able to push our button. Just like before, we're going to continue heading up, and we're going to have that render. Now again, once the render dies, it will spawn in the portal, allowing us to head in to the end fight. So at this point, it is really the end fight inside here. So we're going to head in, and we're just going to start beating on the guy. As you can see, he does have quite a large hit point pool, but he is slow. So as long as you kind of keep your distance, he's really not that terrible. But again, he does like to melee, so he will slowly work his way up towards you. But if you are ranged, as long as you keep moving, he's really not too terrible. So as you can see, he has a very large hit point pool. And you'll also notice once he dies, quest is not actually completed. However, it does give us a chest of loot. So you can go ahead and grab the loot, which can contain some, again, named items. Don't recommend re-rolling unless obviously you are specifically going for one of the named items. Now, once he dies, you do want to head down one of these paths here that you had opened up previously. And we're going to head down back to that main hall, kind of just here at the bottom. And we're going to head up those stairs where all the Yugoloth mercenaries are now sitting up top of. So we'll quickly kill them. Then we just got those renders and a drider. And once that's all dead, as you see, we just got our onslaught. All that's left is to actually head in. And we need to select this giant golf ball, the Orbitalolf. Once you do, that will complete the quest. As you see, 141,000. From here, all that's left is to recall out and continue on to your next quest. So for our next quest, we're actually going to continue off right here. So hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good one all.